Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to day 4 of our 12 days Geospatial Python Bootcamp. Today, we will dive deeper into Folium. Yesterday, we saw how we can make basic maps with Folium, but today we will touch on some of the fancy and advanced stuff that we can do with that amazing Python package. So let us take a look at our agenda for the day. Today, we will look at how to customize the icons, and then we will also look at how to add insert maps called mini maps, and then how to add a search to your map. So you load in a lot of layers, you add a lot of stuff to your map. How do you give it a search functionality such that the user can just search and then go to that particular object? We will also learn how to do geocoding. So we will add a geocoder to our map. And then we will look at how to digitize. So you can actually do digitizing with Python with the help of Folium. And so we will take a look at that one also. So that is the agenda for the day. Let us get into VS Code and see how we will do them. So I have my VS Code opened. My day 4 file is created. And then inside my day 4 folder, I have data, which is africa.geojson. And I will show you where to get it when we get to that point. I just thought I should load it so that I'll not save time copying and pasting files over. Okay, so the first thing to do is to learn how to customize icons, but let me go to full screen. Okay. So today is customizing. As always, we will import Folium. And if you remember from yesterday, all you need to do to create a map is to first create the map object, which is this. So we just say Folium.map. And you can specify a start and end coordinate, but I'll leave it like this. And then when you finish, just call the map object like this. So let me select a kernel so that it will recognize my Python code. Okay, so this is all you need to create a map. And so when I run this code, I have my map. But what I can do is to specify a start and end coordinate here. So I can say location. And then inside the Python list or tuple, I can say maybe 6 degrees minus 1. So 6 degrees latitude minus 1 longitude. And then when I run it, that is where it will take me to. Okay, so today we will look at how to, and that is the basic stuff of map. And but if you want to add anything to the map, to say you want to add a marker at this same location, what you can do is to say Folium.marker, and then you pass in the location of the marker. So location, and then that should be 6 and the same -1. And then if you want to see this marker on the map, all you have to do is to call the .add to. And what do you want to add it to the map? And so when you do it this way and you run, you should see your marker there. And then you can pass other things like tooltip and all the things that you can pass in tooltip, pop up, make the icon nice and whatever. I think there's one draggable there. We did not exploit yesterday. Let me see. A draggable is false by default, but I think it is, if it is true, it should allow us to be dragging our points around. So I click and hold and I can drag it around. Okay, so that is also one cool feature we couldn't go into yesterday, but we have found today. Today we are looking at how to customize our icons. So I think I can leave my marker there because we actually need markers. And then if you want to customize an icon, this is where you do it. So you just say icon. There is an icon parameter that you can add. And then you call folium.icon. And then inside this folium.icon, there are a couple of things that you can also pass. The first one is, let me put the cursor on it and let's look at the documentation. You see that it has a color which is by default blue, an icon color. The icon color is the color of, you see this small circle you see in there, that is the icon. And the blue one is the marker. So there's white because the default in there is white. But if I change the default here, say icon color, and let me just choose red, and we run it, you see that the marker is blue. Okay, in the case where I specify, okay, the blue came, I think it took some time to load. So you see that that is the icon that is inside there. We are not changing the icon color. I just showed you how it can be. And so what we are interested in here is this icon parameter of the icon class. By default, it says info sign. So I pass in icon, and then the default is info dash sign. If I run this one now, I shouldn't see any difference because, okay, it is there. It has changed. I think changed from the circle to this info sign. Okay. So in that case, why did they put this one here as the default? Because that is not actually the default. So which one is being called? Okay, whatever. The job is not to investigate their code. The job is to see how we can customize this icon. And so you can see that there's one. I want you to take notice of a few things. The prefix. This is a glyph icon. And the default is, I think, bootstrap icons, bootstrap glyph icons are the default. So if you know of the name of any bootstrap icon, you can pass that one in, and then it will change the icon for you. I have the link to the place here, but let's just search for it online and see. Okay, so here I will search for Folium icons. And then this Stack Overflow, not the Folium documentation itself, you not find it there. This Stack Overflow answer here, we just go to it, and that is where I found out the bootstrap thing. Okay, so this particular answer, not the first one, this one here. It says we can find a full list of all the icons here. If we want to use the person suggested two services here. So there's one from Font Awesome. If you're a web developer, you probably know them. And that one, if you want to use it, we have to change the prefix from glyph icon to FA. But the one that is in by default is this one from Bootstrap, which is the glyph icon from Bootstrap. So we can visit that place. Okay, it's taking a while to load. But this Font Awesome icon has loaded. So what we can do is to come to maybe icons. Okay, so already at icons. And then, okay, we have the opportunity to choose between solid or regular. So I think for our case, the solid will do. And let's give it some time for it to load. Let me refresh the page and see. But this glyph icon from Bootstrap has loaded. So when we come to this place, any icon we see here, we mostly see the naming convention as glyph icon hyphen, and then the name of the icon. So if I want to change the icon to, say, this home icon. All I have to do is to come to my Folium inside the icon there and then put home there. When I run, you see that the icon there has changed to home. So that is all you need to do, just to find out which of these icons you want to use. And then you just get the name, not the full name, the name that comes after the last hyphen. You just get that one. And our font awesome 2 has loaded. So let's just say that I want to use this cloud as my icon. I click on it like this. And then you see that the name has popped up here. It says FA Solid, FA Cloud. But I'm not interested in the FA Solid. I'm just interested in the cloud part. So what I can do is I'll not add the prefix here like FA-cloud. No, that is not what is recommended. What is recommended is that we put just the cloud here without the FA, but add a prefix, override the prefix and put FA in the prefix rather. So don't put the FA in the icon, put it in the prefix. So if I run this one too, okay, it is taking some time to load. I'm sure it's loading it in the background because it has to download it. It's new. It's not part of the default stuff it brought. But I can see that when it's loaded, it has given me my icon here. So that is how you can customize the icons. Maybe we will take one practical example. You have collected a lot of data. So you want to make distinction between them cartographically. So you can be changing colors of the marker and the icon based on what use or what their particular point is describing. So let us take a look at a more practical example with this icon customization. So I will maybe comment this one out. And then I want to generate some random points. So I will import NumPy here. If you are new to Python or NumPy, just know that it's a Python library for, I think when I hover over it, they will tell you. Okay. They really tell us, but it does a lot of numerical computations, matrices, and code. It does it really, really well. So I can import it as NP so that I can use the alias NP instead of typing NumPy everywhere. Okay, so for my latitudes, which I'll call lat, I want it to be a np dot random dot randint. That means I want NumPy to generate a set of random integers for me. I want it to go from -35 to 37. And then I can also pass here and say that, okay, between this range or within this range, I want maybe say 100 points. So what I will do is that instead of passing the 100 in directly, I will create a variable for it called size, set that one equal to 100, and then pass size here. So that in case I need to change it, I just change it easily. And then for my longitudes, which I'll call longs, that one to be np.random.randint, and that one to go from -17 to 52. And then I also want that number of items, so I'll put size there. If you are wondering where I got these numbers from, if they sound very random to you, well, these are the bounding box for the African continent. So I just want all my points to fall inside the African continent. You can choose to type these same numbers and follow along, or you can do it for your continent just by searching online bounding box for so and so continents. They'll give it to you and you can plug it in. So what we can do is plot all these points, but that should be in between this map. So let me give a comment here, plot the points, and then I will use a for loop here. So for x comma y in, and then let's use the Python zip function to zip everything together. So we are zipping latitudes and longitudes. Maybe I should just I should just run it for you to see what to be printed. So if I choose to print, this one is longs. If I choose to print, maybe because I want you to understand what is going on, I print lats. Let's see what will happen. You see that when I printed lats, it's just random numbers here. So it just generated the random numbers for me in between that range that I gave it. So I just want, instead of me typing a list as long as this one, I can just let NumPy do that for me. So if you're wondering what this output will be, that is what I've shown you here. So this print statement is not needed. So now I am zip mapping through them here. And then I'll say for each of them, I want to add a Folium marker. And then the location here will be X, Y. So whatever the Y equivalent of this negative 28 is, it will take it and then add it here and then plot it. And you know that if I want to see, I have to add to and then select that I'm adding it to the map. So if I run this one now, well, it's happened, but because of my zoom extent, I didn't see it. So you can see that this is the bounding box of Africa. All my points are falling in there, 100 points. Okay. So I think the points are a bit too much for me. So I'll bring this down to maybe 60. And you saw that I had to zoom in and out to see it. So one thing I can do that we didn't explore yesterday is to set the bounds of the map when it first loads. So the extents, that is to set the map extent when it first loads. So I can say map.fit bounds. And then in here, what I have to do is to pass in as a big list. So it takes like a bounding box. So I pass in first a list. And then inside this list, I pass in like top, left, bottom, and then right. So those two also are like, it's like a bounding box. So let me just say it that way. So the first one, I want it to be np.min, which is I want to get the minimum of my latitudes. And then this pop up. I want to also get the minimum of my longitude. So that will be np.min of my longitudes. So this should be the minimum bound. So you can define a bound or a rectangle with 2 points. Once you get the upper bound and lower bound, one of the upper bounds and the lower bound, but it should be the opposite bound. So you get the top left. If you get the top left, then you should get the bottom right. If you get the top right, you should get the bottom left. If you get any of these two pairs, you can define a bounding box. And so that is what I'm doing here. And then the second one, I want it to be np.max. I'm sure you guessed it. And then this one will be lat, so maximum of the latitudes. And then another np.max of the longitudes. Okay, so I can set the bounds like this. This will most likely throw an error because the NumPy object is not really like we know it in Python. But if it doesn't, okay, I said it does throw an error. And that is because an object of type in 64 is not JSON serializable. So maybe that error is not really friendly, but all that is saying is that these things that we are saying is the bounding box. When Folium takes it, it converts it to a JSON. But if you print the type of one of these, it is not really a number like a regular number in Python. It's of a particular data type. I think that is what is stated it down there. NumPy has some formats for representing numbers, and this is one of them. And so what we can do here, the hack around this is to wrap all of these in floats. So I surround it with another pair of round brackets, and then I type the word float so that I convert it to a Python float. You can also make it int, but I think I'll prefer the float. And then the last one here, which is float. Now, if I run this, I didn't get an error. And you see that this one, it zoomed out for me into that particular bounding box. That is great. Okay. So The next step, actually, I think I really skipped this place because we've learned how to customize icon. That was this part. That was this part. This second part, we're actually in the second part of the of our session today, which is clustering the points. So you see that we have a lot of points in there. So let me copy this code. Permit me. Let me just copy everything. And then delete all these ones that came in later. They were supposed to go to another place. So up to this point. And then I will uncomment this one. So by this, we know how to customize a marker. Okay. And I'll collapse this, a new markdown, and then you can say clustering, or maybe another word would be organizing our points. So that if you have a map which has a lot of points in it, how do you go about it? So I'll paste the same code I copied, with the exception of this one, which is not needed. So it's the same thing that I did over there. But let me even increase this one to maybe 100, not 1,100. If I run it, it's still not too much for me. Let me make it 500. Okay, now this doesn't look great cartographically. It doesn't look great at all. So one of the things that Leaflet helps us to do is to cluster our points. And we can do that just by also calling the cluster class or marker cluster class inside Folium. But that one we will have to make a different import here. So we should say from Folium.plugins, we want to import and then marker cluster. So you import marker cluster from Folium.plugins. And then what you do here is before the point, we will create the cluster because we want to add the points to the cluster. We add the cluster first to the map and then the points to the cluster. So maybe create cluster group or something like that if you want to say so. So we can say marker or points cluster, any name. So points cluster. We set that one to be equal to the marker cluster we imported at the top there. And you know that we have to do the dot add to. We will add this one to the map. And then in here, what we specify, we can choose to leave it empty. But if you also want to pass any of these things in here, that is fine. But I'll leave it empty for now. And now, instead of adding these points, each of them to the map, what we will add to is that we add it to the points cluster. Now see what happens if we run our map. Okay. You see that instead of the cluster, you see some very beautiful numbers that kind of changes position and value as we zoom in and out. What this is doing is that it's saying that inside here, where you see the 75, there are 75 points that have been clustered. So I can click on it to zoom in more. And so it has also even clustered it into details for me. I click here, there are 7 there. And I see here there are 2. And I click on it, the 2 will show. So as I zoom out, it automatically also clusters for me. So this is a cool feature for you to make some cartographically appealing maps. So when your map is interactive, your points are all not clustered at one place. So, but once you zoom in, you see the particular point in that particular extent. So that is also clustering of our maps. But we can also even go ahead and make it a bit fancier. If it is okay, I wanted us to add mark icon customization to this, but I don't think it is really necessary. It's not necessary. If you want to customize the icons, you can do that also. Or maybe I should just do it. Let me see. Okay. So what I want to do is that in that array of icons, for every second icon, I want it to have a green color, and for any other icon, that one should be blue. So what I can do is to say, if say, but in that case, I have to convert this here to a list. So I can just call the to list method on it. Also to show you how you can customize your points if in case you are loading from a file with a lot of things. Okay, I think it's just to list, no underscore. Okay, that will make it a list. So I can say that if last dot index, I'm looking for an item at a particular index. So if x here, the index of x is a number which is perfectly divisible by 2, then this is what I want to do. This one should come in, should be indented in properly. And then here, after adding the location, what I want to do is to say icon. That should be Folium dot icon. And then here I can give a color of say green. And then I can give an icon of say camera. And then if that is not the case, what I want to do is to put an else block here. And then this time around, it will be blue. And then the icon will be a tag icon, something like that. Okay, so for us to see that effect very well, we have to add this one to the map and this one to the map instead of adding it to the point cluster. Okay, so now you see that my points have been colored based on the particular index. The icons are also different based on their index in the list. Okay, so that was just for a proof. And let's come back to a more cleaner map. Okay, so as we zoom in, you should see them. Some of them are camera icons, others too are tag icons, and that is great. So that is it also about creating a marker cluster to make our maps a bit neat. So the next item on our list here is to see how we can add insert maps, or what we call mini maps. So I'll come here, adding insert maps or mini maps. Okay, forgive me, I just like to follow particular convention, like capitalizing each word. I don't know why it's so important to me, but I find myself doing it. Okay, so I can just copy this map code here, and then, okay, I will not paste it. If I paste it, I'm just hoping that you not get confused. Okay, let me not do it that way. At least let me create the basic map before I do that. So import Folium, and then from Folium dot plugins, we want to import, and here we will import, it is called mini map. Yep, this one. So I create a map which is equal to Folium dot map. I will not pass anything into it. And then I will show my map. And in between here, I can add my mini map. So add mini map. What I do to add mini map is just to say mini map dot add to, and then I add it to the map. It's as simple as that. So when I run it, okay, you see down here that there is a mini map here. So when I zoom into any particular place, you see that that one is also zooming in and showing it to me in a rectangle, which parts of the world I've zoomed into. So once I zoom out, I can also interact with the map itself via this mini map interface. So that is also how we can add a mini map. Great. But there are other things that we can pass to our mini map. It can be treated like a map in itself. So I can even change the tile layer here. So if I choose the tile layer to be, say, the Kato DB positron, at least one of the few we know from our previous sessions that they work, then you see this one has changed to a Kato DB positron. It's not the same as the OpenStreetMap we are seeing here. And I can also even change the position. So the position here, the default position is bottom right as you have seen it there. So if I put my cursor on it, you see that the default position here is bottom right. So I want to change it to top right. I can just type top right, one word, and then now my mini map is at the top right rather. And also I can, you see that it shows by default, but I can make it show only when I want it to. And in that case, I have to pass in the minimized and set it to be true. So when minimized is set to true, there's our minimap. It's not showing now. Okay, it is minimized. No, not minimized. Sorry, it's not the minimized one. It's toggle display rather. So toggle display to true. And I think now we can minimize it this way. And if we need it, we bring it back with that smooth and nice animation. Let's add the minimize to see. I think it should work with. Okay, so the minimize actually works with the toggle display. So without this, it should come opened. But if you have toggle display on and minimize also true, then it will show minimize. And then when you need it, you click on it just like that. Okay. So that is it also about the minimap. There are other things that you can add in here also. If you look at it, you can change the size by changing the width and height, and the collapsed width and height, as in if it becomes small, how small should it be? You can do all of them there, so you can explore all these parameters here. Just try by changing the numbers and see what they do and how they affect your minimap. Okay, so that will also be for the minimap. Today's lessons, I think they are a bit straightforward and simple, even though we are doing some advanced stuff. Okay, is it possible to make a recap for the first task before moving to the second, please? By the first task, are you saying the first one we did here or what we did yesterday? For yesterday's own, it's just so simple. You import Folium, you create a map object, you pass in an optional location, and then you type map to display your map. And whatever you want to add to the map, you just say Folium dots, and you have a whole list of stuff that you can pass into to visualize. So if I type here Folium dots, a whole lot of things pop up. What I want to add, a circle, whatever it is I want to add, I can add it in here. So that is it, the basic structure of making maps with Folium. Just import Folium, create the map, call the map, and put whatever you want in between it. Okay. So let me collapse this one also, and let's get to the next item on our list. Okay. The next item is how to add a full screen feature. Okay, so that one permits me to just copy this one. It's not really so much code. And then what I can do is to also import Fullscreen here. And so if I want to add a Fullscreen functionality, what I can do is to say, just like I added the minimap, I'll say Fullscreen dot add to, and then I add it to the map. As simple as that. Okay, so you can see the full screen icon here. When I click it now, nothing will happen because I'm viewing this not in a browser. But if you view it in a browser, what will happen is that it will toggle the thing to full screen for you. So maybe we can even try it out. Maybe let's just go to map.save. And then I'll save it inside that same directory, maybe call fc.html, fc for full screen. So it is saved. Let's go inside here. It's found here. And then I can right click, open in containing folder. If you are on Windows, I think that option should be a bit different. But whatever, find a way of opening it. And this is our map here. I think it's already even coming in full screen, but you can still try our feature. When I click on the full screen, you see that it has now entered full screen mode. And then when I click on it again, it should come back to the normal mode. So that full screen works only when you are in a browser. Okay. So the next item on our list is to add a geocoder to our map. Okay. So markdown, add and if you don't know what a geocoder is, you'll find out very soon. But it kind of helps us to find places. So our minimap will be kept because I just love to have the minimap there. I like it. And then in here, we import the geocoder tool from Folium.plugins. And then here I can say my geocoder. And all that I have to do again is to say geocoder dot add to, and what do I want to add it to? I want to add it to the map. So it's just so simple to add these things in Folium. If you want to modify this stuff, fine, but I will keep it as it is and then run my code. When I run this code, I can see a search bar up here which works. So I can search for anywhere in the world. And what I would like to do is to give the chance to maybe 3 to 5 people. You just drop your country, your district, or your place in the comments, and I'll take it and then perform a search here to see whether I can find it. You can, for security reasons, you can just drop a larger area. So if you find yourself maybe in a particular country, you can just drop that one, and then I'll quickly search for that one here. Okay. I'm not getting one yet, so what I'll do is to try and search for Ghana, and then when I type it in and press enter, I don't know why it is taking so long to find it, but see that it brought me to Ghana here. Okay, so I have some stuff there. Okay, somebody is from Nairobi, so I'll just type Nairobi, and then when I press enter, it's saying Nairobi, Kenya. I'm hoping this is the first one. Okay, so I see you from Nairobi. We are now at your place inside my Jupyter notebook here. And then the next person is from Sunyani, which is in Ghana. So when I search for it, you see that it brought me to Sunyani. I'm just taking this random name so that it will let you know that this geocoder is all powerful. Like it will search for everything for you. It uses the I forget the name almost all the time. Nominatim API, so you can read more about that. You can use it to search for places. So let me, okay, Ibadan, Nigeria, and then Durban, South Africa. So Ibadan, Nigeria. Okay, let me choose the one that says, so that even if the options are many, it will bring you all of them so that you choose between them. This is so great and so nice. So my other friend from Nigeria, there's a South African, so let me search for the South Africa, Dakar, and then Mumbai. So South Africa. Okay, so Durban, so Durban, and I think it's this one. So it took me to that place. So we are also at your place. Whoever is from Durban, I just hope that I got the name right. And then there is Dakar, Senegal. We are also at your place there in Dakar. And there is Mumbai. Okay. Mumbai, that is in India. So we are there. Somebody is asking for one, I'm sure it's a town, so Fiapri, if I'm correct. And yes, we found you. You are here. This should be in. This should be okay. It's in Ghana here. Okay, you said Fiapri is Suyani. So yes, we found you. So you can actually. It's very powerful. It's very powerful. So my friend from Morocco too is in. So let me just search for Morocco, and it took us there also. Okay, so the last one I'll do is the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, please don't send it again. I don't want to be in a situation where I didn't type anybody's own. So Gulf of Mexico, and then it took me there. Actually, that one is a water body. Who is from that place? Okay, and then Arusha. That should be in Tanzania if it is correct, and then Pakistan also. Okay, so you can find yourself wherever you are. So imagine you're building a web app and you have this functionality in there. It is so cool. Okay, so that is the geocoder. It's just so powerful. And then this geocoder in itself is like a search. Should you say a search? But we will now learn how to build our own search. I think we can. So let me collapse this one. Thank you all for submitting it. You made that part of the stream fun. Thank you all. So let's add our custom search. So adding a custom search. Okay. So most of the cases, the geocoder is fine if you are building an app that requires the user to search for a place and find the coordinates and all that. But in most cases, you want to build your own custom search with your own data. So that is where the data I have here in the data folder will come in africa.geojson. And this is how I got it. So you just search for, what I did was to search for world shapefile free download. And then there's a particular website I took it from. Okay. That one is not coming. Please give me a minute to verify it. Okay, I'm finding it difficult to find the provider, but I think it was Geo something. Okay, okay. Let's just see if any of these will give us a free shapefile for the world. That is all that we are looking for. So you just get any provider that will give you a free shapefile. This site is taking a while to load. Let me see. Open data. Wow, server not found. Okay, is it that my internet is off? Okay, thank you all for the suggestion. The Diva GIS, I don't know what has happened to their website recently. Maybe it is now working. But I tried it and it was not the. Okay, let me go to the spatial. I was visiting the website and this is what I was seeing. I don't know whether the website is not working now for whatever reason. Okay. I should have selected the spatial. Thank you all. Thank you all. Okay, so it's Diva GIS. Just look for the one that has spatial data. Thank you all. I used to download stuff from there. But when I was visiting the first one that it was not working, I found other providers. And unfortunately, I was doing that on Windows, so I don't have the provider's name inside my Linux environment here. So just come to divagis.org. When you search for World Shapefile, download DivaGIS. Scroll down to see the one that has spatial data. And then this one is downloading for country. Okay, but I do have one for the whole of Africa. So what you can do is you can just choose any country here. So let me just I think there was one person whose country I did not search for. Okay. If I get a name right, is it Combatori or some? Let me see that particular country. Is it a town or a country? And then we use that one for this search. So COIMBOT no BATORE. Okay, so that is in India. So let me go and then pick the Indian. Let me just select India here. I'm just doing it for my friend. So India here, and then I will select administrative. So if you click on it like this, it has started downloading. Okay, so it is done. So you can click on the folder icon. Anyhow, you can get, where is that one? Okay, this is here. So what we can do is to extract it and then extract. So extract here and it has been extracted. And then we can open QGIS and then drag it into QGIS and convert it into a GeoJSON. I know we should have done this GeoJSON conversion with Python, but we have not gotten there yet. That is why I'm kind of staying cool. I don't want us to kind of get ahead of ourselves. So if I open the ND admin like this, and then look for, usually you see admin 0, admin 1, admin 2. I want the admin 1. I think that should be the district level. So what I can do is look for the admin1.shp. and drop it in like this. QGIS, we already know how to do. So this is it. All I need to do is to right click, export, and then save feature as. And then here I will choose a GeoJSON, select the place I want to save it. Okay, if you all remember from yesterday, I don't know why I'm getting this error with QGIS, but it doesn't allow me to go beyond this layer. I think I have to reinstall this software here. So I'll close my QGIS. It's not even okay. Just export it that way as GeoJSON. But before you export it, I want you to open the attribute table because we will use some of the column names here. You remember yesterday we were trying to name our give names to our layers, and we were looking for the name inside the file and we couldn't find it. And sometimes the GeoJSON structure can be complex. So for this particular one from Diva GIS, there is the name 0 column. Take notice of that. That is what contains the country. And then the name _1, I think it contains the states. So, and yes, that is it. So take notice of that. We'll be using something like that for the naming. Okay. So maybe to be on the same page, I will close QGIS. And then what I will do is to now copy this folder here. I will use the Africa, but I will use this one too to show it. So I think it's my home, and then the 4. Let me just paste it in like this. And then I'm about to type a code that will be new to you. Don't worry. It's just for me to convert it to a GeoJSON. So here I will import GeoPandas. You don't have to do this. You can use QGIS to convert it as maybe PD import. And then I can say GDF equal to geopandas.read file. No, GPD. Sorry, I already made it the alias GPD. So GPD.read file. All I'm trying to do is to convert the thing to GeoJSON. So which file do I want to read? Let me come here, ndadmin, and the shapefile 1. I will copy the relative path, and then okay, sorry about that. Paste it in. Remember the other day we had a problem with this thing, so I placed the dot here to save it. And so if I call GDF like this, I'll be able to even inspect my shapefile. Okay, this one is taking a while to read. So what I'll do is to say, okay, so now we see our shapefile. We'll get into this more when we get to GeoPandas, don't worry. So GDF.to, I think it should have GeoJSON. By default, it doesn't have it. So let me just pick the to file. And then here, sorry, I'll just say maybe the path where you save it is ./data/ maybe India.geojson. And I think because of that, I have to pass the driver to be. I'm just hoping that I'll get it right. So GeoJSON. I'm just hoping that it's like this. Okay, let's have a little patience just to make sure that everything is everything is done. I think India should be should have a big land size. Okay, so I have it. I have it in here. So when you go to my data, you see India.geojson also there. So this was just to get that one. So a custom search, Let's just copy these are our maps here. It's just the same, and then we paste it. And you remember from yesterday that we read some JSON files and then plotted them. So what I'll do also is to first read the file. So I'll say with and then open, and then it is inside dot slash data slash india dot geojson, and then I want to open it in read mode. You don't have to use India, you can use your country, you can use the whole world, as long as you're able to convert the GeoJSON in QGIS. So file, I want to read it as file, and I need the JSON library, so I will import JSON up here. And then what I have to do is to say that maybe map data equal to json.load. And what do I want to load? I want to load file. So now I have this file. And you know that if I want to plot it, all I have to do is to say folium.geojson, and then I can pass in the data as map data. And then because I want to see it, I'll say dot add to, and then I'll add it to my map. When I run this, okay, it takes some time to, it's taking some time to read the India shapefile, the GeoJSON. So let's give it some few seconds. I'm sure it should be done. Okay, this option that usually comes before. Okay, so that is India here. So we see that our GeoJSON has been loaded successfully. Okay. But we will not add it this way because we now want to add this GeoJSON to a search object. So what we want to do here is to assign this to a variable, maybe call it India layer or something like that. Sorry, India layer, and set that one equal to this. But what we can do here is that before that, we have to add our search. So search, and we also import that from the folium.plugin. So we just type search like this and then import it. And it's also as easy as that. So we just say search, and then as always dot add to, I want to add it to the map. And then inside this search, this one we don't have to leave it like this. What we can do is it needs the layer that you want to use for the search. It needs the search label. So, and then the geometry type, those are the three, and then maybe the placeholder. Okay, so for that one too, what I will do is, okay, then this India layer has to come to the top because we are making reference to it. So for this one, the layer is India layer, and then I think, and then the label, we have to pass in the label. The label is also very necessary, the search label. That is the column in your data you should use for the searching. Remember, there was name underscore 0. I showed you that one. And there was a name underscore 1, which was actually the name of the districts. And so these are the two most important ones. So once we add this, this one, we don't really need to now add it to map, or we should. Okay, it doesn't really change anything. It doesn't change anything. Maybe we can still choose to add it. But you let us run it and see. Okay, it takes a while for India to load, so let's give it some time. Okay, now you see that there's also this other search button here. So I don't know any of the districts or regions in India, so let me just come in and then get one of them. So maybe I'll choose the partner if I got it right. So I say partner like this and I press enter. It is saying that location was not found. Let me make it capitalized. Okay, I think there's another important parameter that we forgot. Where is it? And then that should be, I think, geometry type. This geometry type is a polygon. If it is a point, you state it there and all that. And I think we can also add a placeholder saying that search for places in India. Okay, so let us run it and have some patience as our map loads again. So let me just bring that one up. Okay, this is done. So you see that the placeholder inside has changed to search for places in India. I think it was partner. And you see, when I started typing, they started popping up. Now I can click on this. It's able to properly index my file. I can click on it, and then it takes me to that place. So that is how you can also, is it the same place? Yeah, it's the same place. That is how you can also add your custom search box for your own data. All you have to do is to load the data as a GeoJSON like this, and then make sure you know the column name you want to use for the search, pass your geometry type, and then an optional placeholder. And then you have a search, your own search engine of your own. And I will show you here by adding another layer, a GeoJSON layer for that matter, for the Africa shapefile, to show you that you can have multiple searches on it like that. Okay. So I will just duplicate this line for the Africa. And this should be Africa. And then that should be Africa data. And then here, we can duplicate this India layer also. And then let me just give a comment here. India layer. And then the next one will be the Africa layer. Okay. So I'll change this name to Africa. And then the data is Africa data. So this is search for India. And so I can do one search for Africa. It's just as easy as that. And for that one, let me go and inspect the GeoJSON so that I know the column to use. We have ADM0. And shape name, that is the country. So shape name. So I'll put that one here. That is the column. There's also a polygon to search for places in Africa. Or let me just say search for country in Africa. Okay. And maybe let's just run them and see. This one will take a while to load. It is loading two GeoJSONs, and that is quite some amount of work, but it should finish very, very soon. And then we will tackle our last item for the day, which is digitizing with Folium. And I promise you are going to love that. Okay, someone is suggesting that we use natural earth to import the data without exiting to Python. Well, that is a great suggestion. We can look at that one. But one of the reasons I'm doing this things I'm doing is that I want you to understand, especially how to work with your own data when you have it from maybe the field. Because it's not really difficult dealing with those kinds of data. There is a place for them, and something has happened. Come and let me address this error. The ship name is not available in. Why is it saying so? Oh, sorry. I was supposed to change this to Africa layer. That is one of the disadvantages of copy and paste. So it is really not encouraged in programming. Forgive me for doing this. I shouldn't be copying and pasting. It's dangerous because maybe I've been coding for a while. I see it and I immediately know where to go. But if you don't know it, it can really, really frustrate your life. And now you have to do to a particular point before you start again. So the person who was talking about the natural earth, it's a great suggestion. We will take a look at it. I'll try so that we take a look at that one. But the focus mainly was how to work with your own data and not rely so much on importing those data sets and all. Because most of the time you do an analysis with your own data, unless maybe you have to back up the data with some world data or maybe a base map, but we see how we can add all those ones when we are exploring other packages for plotting in Python. But thank you for bringing it up. 1 minute and counting, and our thing is still loading. Okay, I think it is worth the wait because once this is done and the last one too is done, then we close chapter for today. Okay, since this is taking forever, what I want to do is to, it's not even allowing me to add. Okay, I think it's done. Okay, it will show up very soon. But whilst that one is still showing up, let's add the title for the other one. Digitizing with Folium. Okay. Keep waiting. I think a lot of pressure is on my memory right now. Okay, so finally, this thing has opened. And I have two searches here. One to search for place in India and one to search for a place in Africa. So if I should search for, then once I start typing, the name should pop up. And when I click on it, it zooms me in to the place. It's taking a while to render my data because those GeoJSON files are are quite heavy. But if I search for a place in India, I think the state, if I get the name right, Bihar State. See that one too also popped up. I can click on it and it will take me from Ghana straight to India, Bihar State. So that is how you can add your custom search for your own data. If you don't want it to show long like this when the map loads, all you can come and do here, I think there is a collapsed option. So if I want the African one to or Indian one to be collapsed when the map starts, I can just put here, sorry, collapsed, and set that one to be equal to true. When this is true, the search box will be minimized, and then you can click on it to bring it up. I want to restart my kernel, which means that I'm restarting take it like the engine and clearing everything that is in memory. So restart, and then I'll clear all outputs because it looks like there's a lot of pressure on my memory, so that we have a faster VS Code to do the thing we're about to do next. Okay, so let us see how we can digitize with Folium. The normal things, so I import Folium, and then I create my map, which should be equal to Folium.map. Okay, why do I keep on typing lowercase m? And then my map here. So no big deal if I write this thing is the regular map that I'll see. Okay, there's really pressure on my memory. This thing should not take 6 seconds to run. Okay, so how do we add the digitizer? So from Folium.plugins, we import what we call draw. And then we come here and say, okay, so comment here, add the digitizer. And then I can say draw but add to, and I want to add it to my map. Once I run this, we should see some changes in our map here. We have a digitizing toolbar at the left, and so let us explore it. If I click on this one that says draw a polyline, you see, let me just zoom in, and then I start drawing. You see that as I go, the distance follows me. If I'm done, I just double click like this. If I want to draw a polygon too, I click on it. When I'm done, I can come and click on this finish, or in the same way, I can click, sorry. So that when you are done, so that you click on finish or you double click and it will automatically close it for you. Also, you can draw a rectangle. So you just click and drag and you have your rectangle. And then you can draw your circle. You click and drag and you have your circle. You can put a place mark or a marker there. And then you have it. This one is a circle marker. Can put it here. And so if I want to edit any of these, my shapes, I just come to the edit layers bar here, and I see all the nodes. So I can take this one, move it to this place. And maybe if the radius is too much, I use this to minimize it. I can come to this place, adjust my vertices as I want. And then when I'm done, I click on save, and it will save it for me. And if I want to delete a particular layer, I can click activate this delete. I click on it, it's gone. Or if I want to clear all, I clear all. So let me zoom in and then do some proper digitizing. So this is the all famous Lake Bosomshin. Let's just say that I want to use a rough circle to represent it. So I'll get from the center, and let's just say that I have my lake now. Okay, and then let me just digitize this forest reserve that is here using a polygon. I'll not be so exact. I'm just trying to get some shapes here like this. Okay, so I've tried to digitize that one also. And so what is the take in this one? We are done. How do we get this? Because in digitizing, usually when you finish, you get your shape files. If you want to be able to export the output, just type export equal to true. And then that is it. It will be able to export your data for you. There are other classes you can add. The default file name is data.geojson, but you can always change it if you are saving it, and the other stuff also there. So let me run it again and then zoom into that same place and then do it for one last time. So this is the lake. So you can zoom in if it's a road you want to digitize. I've made a mistake, so let me edit it, bring it a bit to the center. Let me maybe increase the radius a bit, save these changes, come in here to the forest reserve, and then get this rough polygon. Okay, before then, let me open QGIS in the background because that's what we use to check what we have drawn. So QGIS desktop is open. So now that this is done, you see there's an export button here. Just click on export and it will open up for you to save it somewhere. So I'm coming to my home folder, my 12 days GeoPython training, day 4. And let me save this JSON just in the day 4 folder like that. So I will save it as my data.geojson. Hit save, it is saved. And then my QGIS is also opened. So what I can do is to expand it because I've already added the folder here to my favorite. And that is my GeoJSON data. I'm adding the layer to QGIS. And you see the circle for the lake. Okay. I didn't use a circle. I think I use a marker. Okay, I don't know why it's just giving it as a point. I don't know why. Maybe that is what I did and I've forgotten or something like that. But at least you can see that the stuff I digitized is here, just that same shape. Do I have I think I can put OpenStreetMap here. So let me add a base map, OpenStreetMap base map, so that you see that it is actually at the place where I digitized it. Okay, so a few seconds for my base map to load. Is it possible to auto digitize features? Well, by default, Folium does not come with it out of the box, but you can capitalize on your Python skills and then build up on it. And that shouldn't be so difficult to do. So you see that with apart from the disappointment, either my mistake or a disappointment from Folium that I didn't get a circle for the lake, this forest reserve, the second one there, is exactly at the place. That is the lake here and the reserve I digitized. If I come back to VS Code, where's my map? It's just at the same place also. And I've been able to export it just like that. So that is it for today's session. And I hope you've really enjoyed it because today's stuff have been really, really interesting. And as always, I'll give 1 minute if there are questions that I have to address on air. Other than that, we say goodbye to today and anticipate for tomorrow. Okay. Okay, it's about a circle object. Okay, yes, yes. It probably was not. Someone is suggesting it was not selected, but I think the other part is also saying that the circle is not a data type in vector data. Yes. So if I really wanted it in that manner, I think I should have tried to digitize it using a polygon. Yep. I think I should have done that to try to do some rough digitizing. Okay, maybe I can remove the data from my QGIS and then do the digitizing again. But this time around, I will use a polygon for this one. So let me delete this and then use a polygon to digitize it roughly. Okay, and now export, override this one, and then come back to QGIS, load it again, and then now I have it. Okay, so yeah, that is it. I think the circle is not really a data type, a vector type. Thank you for drawing my attention to it. So you have to try and make it a polygon. Okay, so 30 seconds if there are questions. Other than that, we close. Okay, so thank you very much for joining today's stream also. It has been wonderful and interesting as always. And so have a great day, all of you who are in the day, and have a good night, all of you who have to retire to bed. And until next time, it is goodbye.